Every great age eventually comes to an end. Welcome back to our explainer on the Vishnu Purana. Today we're diving straight into the sixth part of this ancient text to explore the dramatic end of a great cosmic age, and it holds a startlingly relevant mirror up to our world today.
It's a question humanity has been asking for millennia. How will people actually recognize the final age of the world? Well, before we get into the wild, and honestly, kind of shocking symptoms of the end times, we need to understand the cosmic cycles of time that actually get us there.
So let's talk about how time works in the Vishnu Purana.
See, time isn't just a straight line moving from a beginning to a definitive end. It moves in these massive repeating cycles. We drop down through four distinct eras, or yugas: Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and finally, Kali Yuga. And with each passing era, you get this gradual decline in righteousness, truth, and spiritual awareness. It's basically a slow fade from a pure golden age down into something much darker.
Which brings us right to Kali Yuga, the final, and definitely the darkest age of this current cycle.
The Purana paints an incredibly powerful picture of this. It describes dharma, which is cosmic law, righteousness, moral duty, as a bull. Originally, this bull stood firmly on four legs, but by the time we hit Kali Yuga, dharma is balancing on just one single leg. 3/4 of the world's righteousness is just gone, symbolizing how little spiritual awareness actually remains.
So what does that actually look like? The text gives us some incredibly specific symptoms to recognize this age of decline. And honestly, reading them feels a little like scrolling through social media today. The old ideals are completely flipped upside down. In previous ages, your worth was measured by your wisdom and your character. But in Kali Yuga, people judge you entirely by your wealth. Raw, unchecked power is valued way more than quiet wisdom, and success becomes all about what you own rather than who you are.
It goes much deeper into the fabric of daily life, too. Truth gets super hard to find. Basic human relationships between family, friends, neighbors, they just weaken. Everyday selfishness starts replacing compassion. And greed? Well, greed is unfortunately completely mistaken for success. It's an era where the ego is in the driver's seat.
And it's not just about everyday folks. The text throws out some massive warnings for society's leaders. It warns that leaders will start neglecting the welfare of their people just to chase their own personal gain. Because of that top-level corruption, true justice becomes almost impossible for the average person to find. When leaders lack integrity, dishonesty just trickles down until it becomes everyday life.
Now here's the really crucial part. We have to look at these descriptions as spiritual and moral teachings, not just as an excuse to point fingers at the modern world.
They're meant to be a mirror. The Vishnu Purana warns us that human life becomes incredibly distracted in this age. We get hyper-attached to temporary pleasures, always chasing the next thrill, while totally forgetting the eternal nature of the soul. Desire grows, patience shrinks, and the search for real inner peace gets completely replaced by this exhausting pursuit of material success. It's a huge call to check our own priorities. But listen, even in the middle of all this challenge and darkness, the Vishnu Purana offers an unbelievably uplifting message of hope.
The path of dharma is never truly closed. Back in a golden age, it might have taken lifetimes of intense meditation to reach spiritual liberation. But in Kali Yuga, because the environment is so challenging, the spiritual reward for just being good is massively amplified. It can literally start with just one sincere prayer.
Or just one act of kindness. Even the tiniest things, like consciously choosing compassion over hatred, carry immense spiritual weight right now. When the room is pitch black, even a single candle shines incredibly bright. And one truthful decision. Every single person has the opportunity to choose honesty over deception and faith over fear. You don't have to retreat to a mountain, you just have to make righteous choices in your everyday life. This right here is probably the most encouraging takeaway from the whole text. It explicitly states that devotion to Lord Vishnu remains open to everyone. Despite all the distractions of the age, liberation is completely accessible if you genuinely seek it. The door is wide open. But the scripture does make one thing clear. Kali Yuga will inevitably continue to decline until adharma, unrighteousness, hits its absolute breaking point. When that peak is finally reached, the Supreme Lord will intervene once again. And what's super important to grasp here is that this intervention isn't out of anger. It's strictly about restoring cosmic balance.
The universe demands equilibrium, and that requires the arrival of the final avatar.
That grand, universe-altering intervention will come in the form of Kalki, the final avatar of this entire cosmic cycle.
So that leaves us with some pretty massive questions to ponder. Who exactly is Kalki? Why is this specific avatar so much more significant than the ones who came before? And how on earth will he sweep away all this darkness to kickstart a brand new age of truth?
Well, we're going to explore all of those answers and witness the dawn of a new cosmic age in the next chapter of our journey through the Vishnu Purana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.